Hey guys, in this video, let's see how Forza Horizon 6 performs when you have ray traced enabled versus ray traced disabled, and see how much performance gain do we get by not having ray traced and what visual fidelity we are compromising. So let's find out. For this video, I'm using my desktop PC which has an RTX 3050 graphic card paired with Ryzen 5 7600 and 32 gigs of DDR5 RAM. This graphic card has around 8 GB of VRAM, so it's definitely going to be a bottleneck in Forza Horizon 6, but let's find out. So before we dive into comparing different performance metrics, let's look at the in-game settings. I'm using a 1080p monitor, so that's not a lot of pixels to render. Turned motion blur to off because I think it is quite taxing to the GPU, and using DLSS set to auto. And in the graphics and performance section, as you can see, I have used pretty much all settings to high presets, turned ray traced reflection quality to medium, and ray traced GI quality to medium as well. So with these settings in the game, let's see how it performs. As you can see, the gameplay is not smooth. It's not even touching 60 FPS, I would say, with all the cars around me and the dynamic reflections happening. And as you can see, the environment is quite filled with buildings and vegetation. So it is quite taxing to the GPU. It's working 100% of its load. But visually, I mean, it's stunning, right? I mean, you can clearly see all the reflections, dynamic reflections in and around the car. And that's the thing with racing titles. I mean, I for one don't usually focus on the visual aspect around the car. Of course, it's good to have all the reflections when you are driving. So with that, let's have a look when we turned off the ray trace quality. So I will just turn off in the menu and I'll use high presets for the screen space reflection quality. And here as well, screen space GI quality to high and ray traced to off. I don't know if you guys can notice in this YouTube video, but the gameplay is definitely quite smooth for me. I'm getting a bit above 60 FPS. I will mention all the consolidated results at the end of the video for sure for you guys to check it out. But as you can see, the game is quite smooth, and visually I didn't find any noticeable difference. Graphically, I mean, Forza Horizon 6 looks really stunning. And here is a side-by-side comparison between the ray traced set to medium versus ray traced set to off. All other settings are left as is to the high presets as much as possible. I think you can notice the left side where the ray traced is on. There's a bit of lag, I would say. But I would like to highlight that when your gameplay is smooth, like when I'm running the game without ray trace, it's much easier to drive, and as well as I think it was a bit faster, to be honest. Maybe just because it is quite smooth and you don't get those input lag as well. So if I were to choose ray traced versus non-ray traced, I would definitely go for the non-ray traced setting in the game, just because it's quite smooth and I'm not compromising much when not having ray traced. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what do you think about this ray traced setting in Forza Horizon 6. Next, let's look at the night races and see how that performs in RTX 3050. Here I'm running the game without the ray trace, so I'm using all other settings set to high and the screen space reflection set to high as well. So no ray trace, and as you can see, The FPS is quite high, well above 60 FPS, and the gameplay is really smooth. During the night races, actually, I mean, as you can see, the streets are quite empty. Maybe that's why one of the reason that overall night races have a higher FPS. There's not much shadows, I would say, as well during night races, so that's something that you need to keep in mind, that when you are doing night races here in Forza Horizon 6, you will get a bit of a performance improvement anyhow, with or without having turned on the ray traced setting. Now I will turn on the ray trace again. So in the graphics and performance section, the ray trace reflection quality to medium and ray trace GI quality to medium as well, which automatically turns off the screen space reflection and screen space GI quality. So let's find out how it performs. As you can see, the performance dropped quite significantly when turning on the ray trace. I'm not even getting 60 FPS, but it's definitely smoother and the performance is better than the daytime race, which I showed previously. Just because there's a lot less objects to render and there's not too much shadows that the game needs to render. But as far as the graphical fidelity, to be honest guys, my mind is not blown with having turned on the ray trace set to medium. But you be the judge. I will show you a side-by-side comparison of the night race as well. Here is a side-by-side comparison of the night race that I just showed you previously, between a ray trace, running the game in ray trace medium versus not having ray trace at all. And I don't know if you can see it from the video itself, the non-ray trace version of the gameplay is quite smooth. And as I said, the driving is also easier and I was a bit faster when not using ray trace. It's an RTX 3050 graphic card, guys, so do keep in mind that it's quite old graphic card as well. So I would say Forza Horizon 6 has done a really good job in optimizing the game when it comes to graphical performance. Here is the consolidated result of all the races that I did with and without using ray tracing in Forza Horizon 6 in my RTX 3050. As you can clearly tell that without using ray tracing, I'm getting way over 60 FPS, but with ray tracing enabled, I am getting less than 60 FPS or just touching 60 FPS here and there. And as far as the graphical fidelity is concerned, again, as I said, if I were to choose between a ray trace versus non-ray traced version of the gameplay, I would definitely go for the non-ray traced version, just because it's much smoother, it's easier to drive, and I was a bit faster in Forza Horizon 6. Hope you guys found this video informative and enjoyable. Until next time, see you, bye bye.